this. I wish you would have covered that. I can't remember exactly what they were offhand, unfortunately, but what I've done so far is I've just added that to the comment section and pinned it on the video for it.
Okay.
And so that information is there. And then because this is going to be like this is a living system that I have, that as these things change over patches, I'll go back and revisit them. I can just put those things back into the actual video once once I redo it.
Okay. Awesome. Do you have any more questions, Cynical, that you wanted to ask him that were in your mind?
So you've been playing the game for, you said, 2 years now, correct?
Yeah, actually, about I think it's 2 years and 2 months now. I think I started playing end of April. What was it, maybe 2019? So like the last 2 weeks of alpha.
So you've got a lot of experience with the game itself. This is something I've always been curious about because I haven't been playing the game very long myself. What do you think is like one of the biggest and at the same time like best changes they've made to the game from like its state in alpha to where we currently are here in, point 8, point 2?
Yeah, it's a little bit of a recency bias, but the Monolith of Fate changes this patch were amazing. Like we've always said that the end game has been one of the lacking aspects of the game, and the new Monolith of Fate system is it's a system that stands on its own and is already good end game content, but is also so modular that they can add on the other end game and really make it a lot deeper. Going from the old monolith system, which was pretty basic, it was a really basic system with like you pick between two modifiers, you just keep going until you get like 30 echoes, and then finally you get the boss if you're lucky. To what we have now with all of the granularity and the ability to customize your experience, I think that was the biggest jump they've had so far as making the game much better.
I think one of the things that stands out for me with the monolith changes, though, was the fact that now we can target farm a little bit more as far
Yep.
as when you're looking for a certain item and you know for a fact you need something. The other thing that I've started to take into consideration too, whenever I'm playing in the monolith system, is my own level versus the level of the monolith. Because at certain points, different based items will start dropping at different points of the game. So that's whenever I start making changes to the things like my loot filters to start looking for those drops so that I can get the upgrades that I need. So all these changes they've made to the game have been really, really fantastic. And I think overall the monolith system changes were really, really good for the game, to keep it from being the old boring system of choosing between the two, which that is, a good point, Mcfluffin, that there was only two modifiers you could choose from at the point back then. Now you have a whole different array of different directions that you can go, as well as different ways of resetting it, as well as knocking modifiers off before you do a boss. If you know a boss fight is going to be hard for a build you're doing, you can use little tactics to knock modifiers off, like leaving open the beacons or leaving open one of the shades. So I like those changes. What
Yeah,
about you?
I think.
Oh,
Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to ask Cynical if he got to play before, if he noticed any differences in the changes, or did you not get to play before the changes were implemented, Cynical?
So I played very, very briefly with the old like choose two monolith system, but like I didn't really like get super far in. Like my character was like barely out of the story. Basically, I did like I don't know maybe 4 or 5 of them of the choose two things, and then like basically long enough to unlock an arena key. Did like arena, and then like a new POE league came out. So like I kind of went away from last Epoch for a while until the last like month or two when I came back and like got really really into it. So I didn't have like a ton of experience with the previous system. I remembered it existing and then got to the like the monolith thing on my character and was like, what the heck are all these nodes and all these web things? And like I said, that's how I found Lone Star's videos.
Oh, okay. What were you about to say, Lone Star?
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say, I think for me the biggest sort of example or like aha moment for just how big of a change it was is the first 2 years or so that I played at LE. I have gotten exactly one level 100 character. I never wanted to do any more than that. I did one just because I could actually have one. But I never got any more than that before this patch. The first character I made on this patch, I hit level 100. I didn't even mean to. It just happened because I was enjoying playing the end game so much.
That's a good thing then, to have a change
Yeah,
come into
it's
effect. causes you to want to
That's
actually keep playing.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's pretty much exactly the goal if you're a game developer. I would imagine is like you develop something so good that your players don't even realize how close they are to like max leveling a character. They're just having so much fun playing the game that it just happens naturally for them without them like forcing it, basically.
Exactly.
So, Lone Star, what other videos or videos do you have in the works that you plan on putting out besides Last Epoch University or other material that you already have put out?
Yeah, I need to get back to making more build guides. I only have one build guide this patch, which is pretty unusual for me, partially because I spent so much time on the stupid thing. I was hit level 100 on it and kept going. But I need to start getting some more build guides out. Right now, I'm working on. I say I'm bringing back Shadow Daggers. It's not totally true because there are people in the community that know it's still super OP. But no one's playing Shadow Daggers because it got nerfed and people think it's bad now, and it's still S tier. So I'm working on trying to make about as fast of a Shadow Dagger build as I can. And right now, it's extremely fast. I'm flying through the content. But I want to make more guides as I go throughout this patch. That's probably going to be most of my focus, and maybe get a few more LA universities out too.
Okay. So, when can we expect that build guide to drop?
It's a good question. I just hit empowered with it last stream, so we'll start farming empowered blessings here tomorrow. Probably, I'd say probably within a week.
Nice. That's not too bad then. Do you have any other questions, Cynical, for Mcfluffin?
That's all I can think of right now. I don't have anything else for him that I can think of
Okay.
off the top of my head.
All right. Well, guys, normally one of the things that you guys as viewers requested is that we keep the guest on the show, but unfortunately, Mr. Mcfluffin does have other things that he has to attend to, and since that's all the questions we have for him, we'd like to thank you very much, Mr. Mcfluffin, for being on the show with us. We thank you for all the content you're putting out in the community. It really means a lot to new players. Cynical being one of them that's got to see your video and it helped him out. And I'm sure there's many others that have watched this that are very grateful for the work that you put into this. So thank you, Lone Star.
Hey, thank you so much for having me, and I'm really glad you guys started up the podcast. We used to have podcasts like early-ish beta, and I liked being on them. It was a lot of fun. I loved watched them every week, and then unfortunately we lost those. So it's really good to have have a podcast back that we can watch and be a part of.
Well, we appreciate you being a part of it, and that's making
I mean,
history for us on our third episode, having you here. So we appreciate it.
absolutely.
Thanks again, guys. Really appreciate it.
Not a problem, Lone Star.
Thanks, Ryan. Have a good night, Lone Star.
Thanks, you too.
All right, Cynical. So did you have fun getting a fanboy out and have your boy on? That's one down
Yeah,
for
I
you.
enjoyed it. I enjoyed it.
We got one more to go. Now we just got to get Lizard IRL to come on, and then you'll have your
Yeah.
duo.
Yeah,
So
we got to figure out a way to get Lizard out here.
see, what would have made it good is if I would have booked Lizard and got Lizard on here with us, and didn't tell you Lizard was coming along with Mcfluffin and get them both on at the same time.
Oh man, I'd have like ran out of my room. Like, yeah, okay, cool. Lone Star is here. That makes sense.
Then Lizard pops in. All right. So moving on, we'll talk about the dev stream a little bit. Next patch is going to be a hard sentinel rework still, and some of the skills. He did mention there is a skill change to one of the skills that's existing now that most people are not aware of. I guess apparently it's something with throwing a flag out, and if a minion or an enemy monster picks it up, you can still port to that minion with the flag. Did you hear about that, Cynical?
I did not catch that part of the dev stream.
Yeah, it was on there. He was talking about a skill that's going to get reworked to where it does like a flag effect, like a flag and drag, like maybe like Jarvan from League of Legends if you play League, some
Oh
sort of
yes.
effect like that. So that's going to be kind of interesting. I'm interested to see what that one is. The other thing they mentioned in the dev stream too is they're going to be reworking stances, and I think we've already discussed this before. I hope that they do like a stance bar, kind of like how World of Warcraft has it, where you can change between stances whenever you need to kind of do like a stance, like the warrior or the paladin.
Oh yes. I really hope that's what we end up getting because like that's one of like my favorite parts of playing Warrior and WoW back when I did play Warrior was like stance dancing to like meet the needs of like a fight like in real time basically.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to that too because that means now you'll be able to take and change at a moment's notice, maybe either to give yourself a little bit more defense in a different stance whenever you need it, and then switch back to an offensive stance whenever you need to put out the DPS. So give you a little chance to survive maybe a hit or something that you normally couldn't survive without the stance change.
Yeah, exactly. The one thing from the dev stream that I remember him talking about was them basically saying that like multiplayer is the focus right now as far as like what they're putting most of their time into, and we've discussed that on the previous couple episodes. That's pretty much going to be like the big uh that's going to be the big boom in popularity for the game.
Yeah, it's going
That's
to
going
be
to
the
give us like
multiplayer.
the spike in, yeah, the spike in players is going to come from multiplayer. So, obviously, I don't want them to rush the multiplayer. I want it to be good when it comes out, but to hear specifically from them that it is also their priority makes me feel really good about it because I feel like if it's something they're focusing on, it's something they're gonna get right.
Yeah, and they have said that slowly over time they've taken more people and added more people into the multiplayer testing. So I'm what I'm hoping for is that whenever we do finally get multiplayer, that it doesn't happen like with every single PoE patch where you get a bunch of breaks within the game. You know what I mean? How there's like different mechanics that screw things up. Different skills might have a bad interaction. I'm hoping that by the time they put out the multiplayer system, everything works good. It works smooth. I'm hoping that we don't have the lag that we get in PoE when you have multiple players with all the different numbers on the screen and everything. I'm hoping that it comes out as a smooth finished product that runs. I hate to say it, but I hope it runs as smooth as Diablo 3 does for multiplayer because D3's multiplayer is really, really smooth.
Yeah. Look, for all of Diablo 3's sins, the multiplayer is not one of them.
Mm-mm. Their
The
multiplayer's always been
multiplayer
good.
is, yeah, it's really good. It runs really smoothly. I've never had any issues with getting my friends to join a game on Diablo 3 or anything like that. In the past, it's always been a very smooth experience. I agree. I hope we get something like that. Um, the other thing that he mentioned that's coming with the multiplayer is also an offline mode because I know a lot of people have been requesting that because of course the game is single player. We cannot play with each other, but you do have to have an active online connection to play the game currently because of like the servers and everything and how things are stored. And he did mention that they are planning to have offline as a playable mode by the time multiplayer launches as well.
Which that'll be nice. But regardless, I'll still be playing multiplayer once it comes out, and I'm pretty sure I already know which build I'm going to be playing. I think I found the build that I love the most. I've been playing the Poison Alkalite this past week, and I gotta say, man, that Poison Alkalite, the damage ramps up quickly whenever it's just one target. What have you been playing this week, Cynical?
Well, the spin to win paladin, he ripped today on stream. That was very unfortunate. I got a blood shade, and then like the blood effigy was in the middle, but all the void pools were around him. So like I couldn't get to the blood effigy, so I just kind of slowly got drained to death. It was very very unfortunate.
That would definitely suck. I would hate to have that as a problem to have to deal with. But with my builds that I've been playing recently, most of them are minion builds. So the golem tends to take the brunt of the effigy's damage whenever the effigy's up. The effigy seems to attach to the golem if you have a little bit of threat on him. The other thing they mentioned at the dev stream too was that buff icons are supposed to be adding in some either buff or debuff icons.
Yeah, I caught part of that. I didn't catch like the full bit about it because, like I told you, I was kind of like clicking through the dev stream trying to like catch the highlights basically. Um, but yeah, he mentioned the better visual buff and debuff icons are coming. I am very excited for that. Um, just again, we've talked about this previously on other episodes, giving us more information and the ability to parse data more within the game is never going to be a bad thing for the community. And like I told you beforehand, like that's kind of one of my issues with the game right now is that like I find it visually difficult to tell if I've been hit by a debuff or not in combat sometimes.
Yeah, and that's one of the same things that I would like to be able to see too. Is like how fast are we putting up debuffs on mobs whenever we're running ailment builds? You know, like if you're running an ignite build, I'd like to know how many stacks of ignite I'm getting up on a target before they're starting to fall off. You know, that would actually help out quite a bit. Same thing with poison stacks. You know, you got poison stacks, other debuffs up there too. Like what is it? Uh, it's not. Is it called damned? No, it's plague. Plague. Whenever you're putting
Yeah,
plague
plague.
stack up, you know those are things I'd like to be able to see and see how those are going along and seeing how those are being put up with it as well. I think that would be, like you said, more information is never a bad thing to get to the players. It allows us to know exactly what's going on. But I'm definitely looking forward to being able to see ignite stacks, poison stacks, and I would like to also maybe see if they've got a system for being able to tell how close you are to freezing a mob, because like Wilson has something similar like that with like the boss bar breaking, but you can break a boss's bar and do all kinds of stun mechanics and stuff to him like that constantly. Whereas in this game though, it's a freeze mechanic, but you don't know what the ratio is of the amount of damage before you freeze them. Maybe a little freeze bar or something above would be nice with freezing mobs.
Yeah, I'd like something like that. Trying to, there was something else from the dev stream that they mentioned that I was like, "Ooh, that sounds cool." That they were talking about. Oh well, not necessarily cool, but he was like talking about like they are aware that there are things in the game that are broken. Earthquake, werebear. Sorry, something in my throat. Um, like they're aware of it, and he's like he basically was like, I can't say what the changes are, but changes are coming. So Benishol, our guest from last week, he I guess he needs to get in all of his werebear earthquake time before they do the werebear like they did his ballistas. So
Oh, poor guy. Benishol can't catch a break. If he plays his build, he gets nerfed. It's like, oh, Ben's playing it, nerf hammer.
yeah.
That was so like I had no idea that the ratios on the ballista build was so bad. Like after the patch, I didn't know that they nerfed it by almost like a fifth of its original damage that he was putting out with it. But
Yeah.
that was very very sad to hear. The build I'm working on, I'm actually going to be using that Malvern's writ in it, the one that gives you
Oh,
the extra crossbow minion. But one of the
yeah.
interesting things is that mine's got the perfect +3 to critical strike chance for bow minions. Well, what does Necromancer have? You got bow minions with the archers, so I'm gonna
That's
test it
true.
out and see how it goes with that, and see what the increased damage to bow minions does as well, and see how that plays into the build. What are you working on though this week now since the Warpath ripped?
Yeah, Warpath ripped. So we made a necro. Well, it's still an acolyte. It'll be a necro. Um, I haven't really decided what build I'm gonna go yet on it. I mean, I got time to decide. I haven't even completed the temple yet.
Oh
So,
wow.
like I got to Ruins of Welrin and did the docks where you have to kill the centipede, and that was where I ended on stream earlier. So I got plenty of time to figure out what I want to do. I'm thinking I might do like Bone Golem Retaliate, just let the Bone Golem tank up everything and do all the work for me, basically. Um, you know, like I'm thinking because like the Warpath build, Warpath, you're pretty much you're in combat. But like if I have the Bone Golem, I don't have to be in combat. That sounds exactly like what I want to do for hardcore. Because the less I'm in combat, the less chance I have of dying.
So are you going to use Dreadshade to get the taunt with it, or no?
Um, Probably. I don't see why I wouldn't go into it if I'm trying to get the Bone Golem to tank everything for me.
Yeah, that's
So,
understandable.
like I said, those are decisions we get to make further down the line. But for now, yeah, we're gonna start with this Necro and Hardcore and see how it goes. I'm thinking we might do some softcore tomorrow on the stream though, and just try to like uh, I got a couple of softcore characters that have like only completed story. Like my Spellblade's only beaten the story. I haven't like done any mono stuff with them yet.
Okay.
So I might do
That
some mono stuff with the Spellblade.
Now,
softcore tomorrow on
okay, so
stream.
I was getting to ask that if he was softcore or not. That's awesome. So did you get to partake in the tournament at all this weekend for the hardcore tournament?
I did not play in the tournament because it was Primalist, and after my first hardcore character, which was a Primalist, after the experience, I swore I would never play Primalist in hardcore again. Um, I did watch some of the tournament. I tried to catch some of it. Like my work schedule and Lizard's stream schedule, because I love Lizard. My work schedule and his streaming for the weekend did not really line up, so I didn't get to watch a ton of the tournament. But I was keeping up in the Discord as people posted screenshots and he updated the ratings and everything. So
Awesome. Well, the top three winners for this tournament for this weekend, coming in at number one was Nag with over 400 waves pushed on Primalist. And he did it with the bird build too. A Tempest Strike with birds and a Terra's
no,
Blessing. So
oh no,
number two was additional Baker. If I remember right, he had 330 waves. And then number three was your boy Lizard IRL. He took third in this hardcore tournament, but
you know.
he was still up there. I think he was like 293 waves somewhere. He was pretty close to 300. I think he probably, if he would have had a little bit more time, would have probably beat Baker out if there would have been another day to it. Maybe, or maybe Baker might have even caught up to Nag. Who knows?
Possible. I remember like last week when we were talking on the podcast about it being a hardcore tournament, and like I think Vision said he expected the winner to be in like the 250 range, and we were like, I don't know, that seems kind of high. And then they're out here hitting 400. So what do we know? Um,
Well, it's also Nag who's like a strict hardcore player. Like that's all
right,
Nag
right.
plays, and Nag's not just strictly a good hardcore player, but he's also like just an overall hardcore player completely. Like I was talking to him about his Diablo 2 experience, and man, I can think back to playing Diablo 2 as a kid. There's no way in hell I would have ever played hardcore Diablo 2. Like, there's
Good Lord,
no
no,
way. Like, you had
no.
mobs that were immune to you, like, and they were super fast. Like, I can remember running through, like, Hell Diablo area, trying to teleport around as a source and get away from mobs, and they'd still be right up on you the whole time. Forget that. Nag is really, really good to play that game hardcore because that is something I would never ever want to do or wish upon some of my worst enemies to play hardcore Diablo 2.
Yeah, like Diablo 2 is a very unforgiving game, which is why I'm kind of intrigued by the remaster that's coming out, because like they've said they wanted to retain the Diablo 2 experience, and I'm like, do you really though? Because like I'm not sure if like we're gonna get into like boomer mode here for a second, I guess, but like this generation of gamers approach games a lot differently than we did as kids. You know what I mean?
Well,
Like
it's
they
I
don't
can
really
see
make
it.
hardcore RPGs like that anymore. Like
Well,
PoE's close, I guess, but like I would assume PoE's age probably skews older.
well, PoE has a lot of like messed up mechanics in it that just like one shot you too. Somebody was telling me that one of the mechanics for Ultimatum or not Ultimatum, Heist was the guy could actually like mind control one of the mobs, and then whenever it would become unmind controlled, if you had energy shield higher than health, it would one shot you instantly or something like that. There was a lot of weird bugs that have come out with PoE. So PoE you can't really put in the mix as far as hardcore games go because there's a lot of buggy one shots that just happen in that game.
Yeah, like the server connection. Um, look, look, I remember playing PoE when it first came out and playing hardcore mode and having a script to hit to get me logged out of the game so I wouldn't get killed. Okay, I had that. We had to. That we didn't have a choice.
I've seen a couple of the videos, the cartoon drawing of the guy where he's talking about PoE and lag, and it shows the guy he's like whirlwinding, and then he gets stuck right around all the crabs, but he's like whirlwinding, but he's not moving, and then he's like, "Hey, what's going on?" And then he like starts whirlwinding again, and then all of a sudden the lag kicks out, and it just shows him dead. It says to go back to town or whatever because it's a hardcore character.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. It's it's a joke, but at the same time, it's not. That probably actually happened to someone, and it got turned into something instead.
That's exactly probably where it came from. All right. So besides that, are there any plans this week coming up for you with making any build guides? I know I haven't got to ask you if you wanted to start doing that on your channel yet or not, because we've been doing this podcast. So I haven't got to ask you, personally, what things are you going to be branching out into?
Um, I've considered doing some build guides. I have a non-earthquake werebear guy, so it might actually still be viable after whatever patch happens. Um, I have a non-earthquake werebear build. That's it's fine. It you get to like see really big numbers pop up on the screen. Who doesn't like huge numbers, right? I love huge numbers. We play ARPGs. Of course, we love huge numbers. So I don't know. I've really toyed with the idea of doing a build guide for that multiple times. What's kind of stopped me right now is like I feel like I still haven't optimized a lot of stuff with it yet. So like I still want to go through and like play with like redistributing some passives and maybe even like redistributing some skill points and stuff too in the spec skills to try to truly maximize the damage and everything.
That'd be awesome to see. I would definitely like to see if you put out a build guide for something like that, especially point that you play mostly hardcore. It's always neat to see the different ways people build characters versus what a softcore player would build, just because of the difference of it being softcore versus hardcore. So I would look forward to seeing something like that from you. But also, guys, from time to time when you get hungry, you don't always have time to go out and get food. uh, Mr. Cynical Squid here is a Built Bar brand ambassador. So if you ever get hungry, Squid, go ahead, tell them about these Built Bars and tell them about that grasshopper one you were telling me about. That one's interesting.
So right now you're gonna have to act fast on this. So if you're watching live, you have an advantage. If you catch the video tomorrow on YouTube, you may be too, or Thursday on YouTube, it will be too late. And I apologize for that in advance. However, right now at builtbar.com, we have grasshopper bars. If you know what grasshopper cookies are, they're basically like Thin Mint Girl Scout style cookies with a little bit extra brownie in them. Right now, you can get those on the builtbar.com website. You can use code SQUID, just SQUID. Don't worry about the cynical part. Code SQUID at checkout saves you 10%. I'm pretty sure there's a free shipping thing going on right now. There's like always a free shipping thing going on that website somehow. There's ways to get it. They're delicious protein bars. They are made with dark chocolate, which means they don't have a ton of sugars in them. Um, they're packed with like 14 grams of protein in some of them. Some of them have as high as 17 grams of protein. So they're really filling. They can give you a nice boost of energy if you need to keep going. You hit that mid afternoon, you had lunch, you got back to work, you're feeling a little tired, you don't quite have that same energy. You could pop a Built Bar, get you that energy boost, get you power through the rest of your workday so you can get home and have a nice relaxing time that evening. If you're not into the protein bar idea, they do have other products as well. Built Boost, which I've been drinking some of the Built Boost on stream just to taste test all of them, all the various flavors they've had. They've all been delicious so far. Um, they work similar to any other like you've seen the gamer drink sponsor things that float around here with all various companies. They work very similar to. There's no caffeine in them, so you don't get that crash afterwards. But it has a ton of vitamins and minerals and stuff like that in it to give you a nice energy boost in the morning. But yeah, like I said, Code Squid at checkout at built.com saves you 10% on all your orders. It's way cheaper than if you get the Built Bars from a store. I think you did some math on that one time, man,
Yeah,
where it
it's
was like
like
it saves you like
$58 and some odd cents to buy them from the store because they sell them individually
right.
versus it being like $35 plus. I guess apparently with your code too, you get free shipping as well, or is it just a
Yeah.
discount on it?
It's just a discount, but like most of the time, it's free shipping if you order like above an X amount of money, and the bar boxes are all above the X amount of money.
Oh, okay. So you still get free shipping anyways on a $35
Yeah,
box. That would have
right.
costed you almost double that from the store. Almost, not quite.
Yeah,
So that's
exactly.
that's a great deal for built bars. And I mean, on top of that, you just keep them inside your desk drawer too. If you're a gamer, anytime you get hungry, just pop open the drawer to your desk, pull out a built bar, munch on that, get you some nice good protein, some other brain food in there for you, and be good to go. So awesome. So remember, guys, you can always go to Squid's page, go down on there. It's got the code on there for the Built Bars, and you can click on the Built Bar icon on his page and go to builtbar.com and get you some built bars.
Absolutely.
All right. So, what else has been going on in the last Epoch community that you're aware of?
Um, Not a whole lot else that I can think of. I've been kind of bouncing around in streams and just kind of catching what people are doing. Um, do we seem to have a lot more hardcore players popping up recently? So that's nice to see.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I like softcore, but like there's like something different about watching somebody play the game when there's like actual stakes to what they die. It matters a whole lot more.
Oh yeah, because you lose your character. So that's like the worst right there. Especially if you get it so far, get all the way up, and then you make one mistake on a boss fight, and boom, character's gone. No more character. Has that happened to you yet? Gotten all the way to like monoliths and then lost a character on a boss fight?
I mean, I got killed by the shade today, but like other than that, nah. My first hardcore character that died, he got killed in the desert by one of the little like necro guys that throws down like the
Oh
like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
multiple. Yeah, those guys do like a dumb amount of damage.
I seen that rip clip. You were like standing there, and I think you took like two shots back to back, and just like boop
Yeah.
boop, and died instantly.
Like, oh, okay. I didn't even have a chance to like hit a potion or nothing, just dead. I was like, all right, well, okay. I guess we'll make a new character.
Awesome. Well, I know, like I said, this week I've got the poison necro that I've been working on. I got a fire necro that I'm working on. I do have a charity stream coming up on Saturday this weekend. Coming up, it'll be the first charity stream that I'm doing. It's going to be for Wounded Warrior Project. It's going to be on Saturday, starting at 9 a.m. in the morning Eastern Standard Time. It will go till 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So it's going to be a 12-hour charity stream. Come on by, support the Wounded Warrior Project. There is a link already on my page down below. Probably be doing some modifications. Maybe talk to a few people, figure out some way that where I can post our top donors up across the screen so that people know who's donated quite a bit of money to the charity to help out. And also, if you didn't know, this month's charity is the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. And the way that you can donate for that charity is to go to the last Epoch game for Twitch. And the next time they go live on Friday, sub to them, and you'll be able to donate that money to that charity because that's what they're doing with all their subs this month for that charity. So that charity is still going on currently for them.
Excellent. That includes the Twitch Prime subs as well, which you guys,
Mm-hmm.
if you guys have Twitch Prime, it doesn't cost you anything to sub to a channel, but the channel still gets the money, so they will still get the money for the sub to donate to the charity, even with Twitch Prime subs.
Yep, and that'll help out that charity quite a bit substantially. So, and it's for a good cause. Are you planning on doing anything charity wise anytime, Squid?
Not in the immediate future. I have reached out to a couple of different places that I don't want to like divulge currently, just in case it doesn't come through. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah.
I have reached out to a couple of foundations that support things that I'm really into and stuff to try to do some charity stuff here in the future, especially since we have our new stream room up behind us where I can now stream at times where the wife is at the house. So you know, it's nice having a nice secluded room where she and I are not trying to talk over each other while we're both in Discord calls with our friends and such.
Oh, is your wife a gamer too?
Oh yes, good lord, she's playing Dead by Daylight with her friends right now. So
My girl's in the other room right now playing games too.
yeah, she's playing Dead by Daylight with her friends. Well, I assume she's playing Dead by Daylight with her friends. That was the plan. So I assume she went through with that.
I guess the family that games together stays together.
I mean, like she and I don't our gaming doesn't intersect very often because like I'm not a huge fan of playing Dead by Daylight. I don't mind watching it. I actually watch a few Dead by Daylight streamers actually, but it's not really like my type of game to play. But every now and then we'll find a game we both like to play. We played Diablo 3 together for a little while. She got kind of bored with like the end game system just being run these rifts until you are nauseated at the appearance of them, basically. So
Did
She didn't
you?
last too long in that. Uh, she never got in. She took one look at the skill tree for Path of Exile and was like, "Nah, I'm good. Thanks though."
The meme of that one guy looking at the skill tree pops into my head every time I hear somebody say that about PoE. They look at the skill tree, they're like, "No, I'm good. I'm not playing this." Where the guy opens it up and he goes, "What the f is that? What the f?" He's like, "Oh my!" He's like, "There's no way. What in the world is this?" I
I
think of that
remember
meme.
I was trying to get one of my friends into the game one time, and I was like, "Yeah, it has a really expansive passive skill tree." And he's like, "Oh, how expansive is it?" And like, I pulled up a thing for it on like Google Images and showed it to him, and he was like, "Yo," he was like, "That looks like one of those spirographs we played with as a kid." He's like, "That looks like someone's spirograph." Like he's like, "There's just stuff everywhere." He's like, "I don't know how I'm supposed to play that game." I was like, "Look, man, I'm gonna let you know. I'm gonna let you know a secret with Path of Exile. Most of the people playing the game also have no clue how the passive tree works. Okay, we're just following stuff we found online."
I'm
I'm
just
not
picturing
wrong
people.
though.
I'm picturing you showing it on your phone, like, check this out. This is a passive tree, and then them looking and just their head just exploding off their shoulders.
Pretty much. That's pretty much what happened. I was like, look, no one else knows what they're doing either. We're just following guides online. You know, there's like, I don't know, 30 people in the world that know how to like work the PoE skill tree, and like 25 of them work on the game. So,
And they all have doctorate's degrees.
right.
uh, that
I love the
feels
game
about.
though. I really do. As much as I make fun of PoE, I do genuinely enjoy playing PoE a lot of the time.
I really enjoyed playing it with my trap demolitionist. That was like the one time that I enjoyed it because that was the first time I had a build where I could literally just preload a bunch of shit on the screen and then just watch a boss just get exploded
Oh
instantaneously.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So before that, most of my builds were like Quinn 69 builds, where it's like this build might not work, but if it does work, we've made the most powerful leap slam build in the game.
I was using I was using like a bunch of like Dat Mods' builds at one point, and I was like, all right, so basically what's gonna happen is I'm gonna get to like level 75 and then stop dealing damage. So we have to figure out how to mitigate that. If you've ever watched any of his streams, you understand that joke because his chat forever clowns on him about zero DPS. It's great. I love it.
Oh, I'm not saying that about that poison necro build that I've got right now. That thing, man, I'm telling you, I start dropping the zombie minions, the volatile ones, and as soon as they start breathing on stuff, you just watch their health bar go. It's just like
Nice.
watching it drain. It is so awesome. But I'm looking forward to trying this fire one out. This fire one, I've got high hopes for that. So I'll let you know if that one works out or not, or if it ends up being total crap. But this one I'm going to do with the Golem Fire Golem. I'm going to have him set up along with Solitary. I'm not doing the duel, but Solitary Golem with Fire Mages, Pyromancers with Serpent's Milk for the 200% increase to poison chance, but it being globally changed on the skill tree for both the volatile zombies and for the mages to where it's now fire ignite chance. So we're going to see how that works out, having a crap ton of mobs with additional chance to cause ignites deals damage with a build like that. Because so far with the poison build, Serpent's Milk didn't work out so great with it. But once I took the Serpent's Milk off and put on a Bone Amulet, it started shredding through things again. So see how that goes.
There you go. We won't know unless you try. So
Yeah, exactly. So I'm gonna give it a shot and see how it goes. So this week with this next tournament coming up, have you heard anything yet about Vision's next tournament? What the class is going to be or anything like that?
I think the class is Acolyte. I'm like 99% sure I saw that it was Acolyte.
Okay, well then that means I'll be playing in this tournament.
Yeah, that was pretty much my thought process as well. I was like, oh, cool, it's not Primalist. I'll play in this one. Let's go.
Yeah, it seems like there's a very big majority of people that love the Primalist because there was quite a few signups this weekend for the tournament for Primalist.
Hey, more
And
power to them. I'm glad somebody likes it.
but for me, I sat this one out. I was like, you know what? No, I'm not gonna play in the Primalist. I actually might do that for the charity stream. Just level on the charity stream for hardcore because that'll be a good thing too. Maybe every time I die, have to eat a hot jelly bean. Every 50 subs, have to eat a hot jelly bean. Do something like
Hey,
that. And then if I get to 1,000, I'll have to shave off the mustache, something like that.
oh, there we go.
Probably be an improvement instead of a decrease. So make sure you sub to your voice so that he gets rid of this caterpillar off his face.
Yeah, there you go. Everybody go sub to Grim this weekend. He's doing a charity stream, and we can make him shave his mustache off.
Then I'll be bald headed and no facial hair. Look like a young kid again. So, what about some of the other hardcore players? I know you talked to Jay Blunders. Have you talked to him yet at all about what he's working on this week?
The last what was he playing last time? I want to say he was actually playing Primalist. Yeah, he was. He was playing Primalist this weekend because he actually like signed up for the Vision tournament, but I don't know like if he actually like posted a push screenshot or anything like that. But I remember like he was trying to figure out if he wanted to go companions or if he was going to go like totem build, and I think he settled on totems at one point. So
Oh, nice. That would have been interesting to see Jay play in the tournament. I think he did play in the tournament, didn't he?
I
Yeah,
think he did.
yeah. So Jay did. I'm trying to think of who else we know that's a hardcore player that's doing anything. I know Perry the Pig. I caught some of his stream. He was doing something earlier this week with like the Mall of Apartheid. I think is it what's the axe called? The one that you get off of Shade. It's you actually have to farm a higher corruption. He did it in hardcore, and I think he did a hardcore solo self found.
That is wild.
But yeah, he did some sort of build with that with Doom, and then I think that build fell through for him. So I think he's working on a bow mage build. The last time I seen anything on Perry the Pig, so I know he's one of the other hardcore streamers within this community. Another person that I'd probably like to get on here would probably be Rick O'Connor because he does the RIP videos for the Last Epoch community. He's another content creator.
Oh, nice. Yeah, we should definitely try to get him on then.
Yeah, because he's been doing those videos for a while, and he features a lot of the different streamers' rips on there. So maybe he's somebody we could book out after we get done with our next couple of guests that we've already got booked out for the rest of the month. We have coming up next week is going to be Melon Rax. He is a Swedish streamer. He doesn't stream Last Epoch all the time. He's a little bit smaller, but he did come over from Path of Exile. So he was playing PoE before this. So like most crossovers, he's coming over from a different game. So we'll have him on here next week. And then the following week after that, was going to be a special edition of CT Appreciation. But I've talked to some of the CT Cynical, and we'd probably have to do that one a little bit earlier in the day just because of time constraints for some of the CTs are from like Germany and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So,
like I know heavies in Germany, so yeah, we
yeah.
can we can do that a little bit earlier. Work around his schedule for sure.
Yeah, and Trickster too. Trickster's one of the other ones as well.
Yeah,
So, and then you've also got Llama, who's one of the, I think he's from England, who's one of the, I'm not sure if Llama's a CT or if he's a developer because I always get confused between him and Reimer, and there's so many people within the Last Epoch community that like do so many little things that it's just
yeah,
like they work on the game in some capacity or form. Like Mcfluffin, that was our guest earlier, is also a community tester, so
yep,
he doesn't just put out build guides, but he also is a CT as well. So he gives up his free time to do this. So I mean, people like that are people that you really want to thank for the work that they've put into the game because they've made it come a long way with their suggestions and ideas. So I'm very
yeah.
thankful for that. But
Absolutely, and like having good quality testers like that does a whole lot to help a game
it
because
most definitely does.
they're guys who can give actual good quality feedback to the devs, and like them being streamers and content creators themselves also means that like they hear from the community at large and they're able to like help the devs in like what we've talked about before in the past, like being able to parse through what's actual constructive criticism and what's just like people whining about stuff.
Paul,
So the
like,
community testers, the community testers being involved with the community as much as they are, like helps out tremendously with stuff like that.
I'm sorry, I don't know if somebody was trolling in the dev stream this week, but I think somebody said, "Hey, I've played your game for like 20 hours. This sucks. This." I just don't know why. I don't know why that popped in my head. It's like, yo, I played this game for 20 hours. I'm
Hey,
stuck. I'm stuck in chapter 4 of the quest.
I've
Send help,
yeah, like
please. I don't know what to do.
it's like this game has been like I I don't know that I found anything in the story like super hard the first time I played through it, but like I can definitely see if you're coming over from a game like Diablo 3 for instance where like the items you pick up during the story mode for Diablo 3 largely don't matter because it's more about just unlocking your skills and your runes and stuff like that. Whereas like in Last Epoch, like especially in hardcore, but like even in softcore, like if you don't want your damage to fall off, you need to pick up items as they drop, man. Like once you unlock the next set of bases, like just take one. It doesn't matter what it is, you
It's
know.
still an upgrade.
Yeah, it's still an upgrade. And I think people coming over from games where that's not a thing, because like even in Path of Exile, like I mean, I would go 20, 30 levels in Path of Exile without picking up a new weapon sometimes, just because like my weapon's like really good or like it's like some low level unique that I got for like 3C or something from somebody, you know?
Yeah. And I agree with that wholeheartedly, man. I especially do not like, though, in Diablo, how the system is now the way it feels, where it's like you just get through the mode, do your little side quest at the beginning of the league, get your set, and then after that, you can farm whatever set else that you want to play in the game. I don't really like that, the way that feels. And I think Last Epoch has done an amazing job of combining not just the way drops work in other action RPGs, but also a unique crafting system that allows you to better gear and set up your character for things if you know how to look for it. Like one of the things I've stopped doing is I've stopped ignoring blues just because blues sometimes tend to drop with like two tier fives on it. And then after that, you add the other modifier to it, which makes it a rare. But whenever
Yeah.
it drops with the two tier fives, it's like, oh crap, I got two really good stats on this item. This is the correct base I need. I got two open slots. Let me see how far I can push this thing. So paying attention to like that comes with game knowledge though in time is like paying attention to little details like that. Because you're not always going to find those nice little upgrades where it's like, boom, this has got tier 6, exactly what I want on it with, tier 5 and tier 4 and tier 4. But most of the time, what you get is you get one really good tier 6, if it is even good, or it's on a crappy base where you're looking at the base and you're like, my God, this base sucks. Why did it drop on this? And it's a tier 6. So it's one of those things where sometimes the blues tend to be a lot better than the purples that you pick up just because the purples tend to drop on either a crappy base that you can't use or it'll have modifiers that if you go to take that modifier off, you're risking taking off that tier 6 mod that you need or another modifier that you already like that's already high on there. So the crafting system itself overall is absolutely amazing. And I think it does a good job of allowing players to build their character into a baseline to where they can farm for that higher end, top end gear until they can get those drops. It allows you that comfortability of being able to be geared for the content, but not over geared yet while you're looking for that better next upgrade. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. And like the remove affix glyph, I forgot which one it is by name, but like that thing hates me a lot. Because I swear I'll be like, all right, look, as long as it doesn't remove like it'll have like three affixes on it. I'm like, all right, cool. I need it to remove like any of the like any two of these would be fine, and then it removes a third one, and I'm like, okay, well,
Yeah,
you
it
know,
just broke. It just
whatever.
broke it.
I was
You,
like, I guess I'll just sell this to the merchant. It's fine. Don't
oh
worry about
no!
it.
As long as it doesn't take that tier 6 off, I automatically break it down for
Yeah,
affixes right away.
absolutely, absolutely. But yeah, no, like the crafting system in this game is super cool. Um, I like how it allows you to like it makes you care about white items too, because like getting like a base white item like that has really good implicits on it for what you're trying to run, like especially if you're still leveling, you're like, wait a minute, no, I can make this into a really good item. Let's go.
Yeah, you can sometimes if you luck out with. I'm one of the tricks I'm using is I usually use the second glyph over the glyph of stability. I believe it is the one that lowers the amount of instability you get.
Yeah,
And I use that one usually for the first two on a white item, and then after that, I'll usually max out the others to a 4, and that's usually cutting it close. I might get, if I'm lucky, one tier 5 on it on a base white item, but you don't get all tier 20s. You know what I mean?
yeah,
You'll
no,
get pretty
no,
close.
yeah. Like I said, the only time I really pay attention to whites is if I'm leveling. Like if I'm still leveling, like in the story mode, like where it's like a weapon that I know, like I can just throw like a couple of affixes here and there on it, make it a really cool item that's like good for my build or whatever, and then it'll be something I won't mind upgrading out of later. And like I didn't put a ton into it, basically, you know?
Yeah. Well, guys, it is almost 10 o'clock exactly on the dot. That's going to do it
Indeed.
for me and Cynical Squid tonight. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Remember, you'll be able to catch this on YouTube on Thursday night, along with edits to it, as well as all the information for where you can find Lone Star McFluffin's videos, as well as Cynical Squid's YouTube channel and his Twitch channel on my YouTube. And on his YouTube, you'll have my Twitch channel and my YouTube as well on his. So regardless of
Yep.
which one you looked at, you'll be able to go back and forth and check and see the differences. I do all the editing for us, and I send him a copy, so it makes things a lot easier sometimes, as long as we remember to clear out our inboxes on Google.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. As long as you know.
Because it'll only allow you to send a file the size of 15 gigabytes, not any more than that. All right. Take care, everybody. Have a great one. It's good as always to see you again, Cynical Squid.
Absolutely.
And have a good one,
Y'all be
fellas.
good.